10 reasons why kindness can ruin your life. Have you ever felt that your kindness goes unnoticed, or worse, is taken for granted? If so, you are not alone. In our world, true generosity often goes unnoticed or is ignored. We are raised to put others' needs before our own. We have been told since childhood, share, help, give. And so we grow up full of a desire to do good. But what if our generosity turns against us? What if people begin to perceive us as an inexhaustible source of help and support? In the modern world, this is the harsh truth. Sometimes, the more we give, the less we receive. And it is not only about time or money, but also about our energy and peace of mind. Stoicism teaches us balance and self-preservation, but we often find ourselves overextending ourselves. Today, we will uncover the dark side of excessive generosity and understand how to find the golden mean. Together, we will explore 10 dangerous consequences of excessive kindness and 4 principles of Stoicism that will help you find harmony. So, if you ever felt that your help is not appreciated, this video is for you. First, being too kind can make you look weak. Stoicism teaches us inner strength and self-restraint. It teaches us to set boundaries and be disciplined. But here's the catch. If you always help everyone, you can create the wrong impression. There is a certain difficulty in balancing between helping and being too kind, which can lead to the wrong perception. Imagine a situation. You are always ready to help, but as a result, others see you as a person who can be dumped on. This can create an impression of weakness, and people may stop valuing your contribution. But here's the key. Start saying no firmly, but politely. Imagine yourself as a person who respects his time and values himself. When you set boundaries, it changes the perception of others. You no longer become just a person who is ready to do anything. You become someone who deserves respect. Saying no to them is not just a refusal, it is an important statement of your worth. It is a sign of inner strength, not weakness. So the next time you are tempted to say yes when inside you want to say no, remember this. Stand your ground. It is a necessary statement of your strength and worth. Second, unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment. Here's a Stoic truth. Happiness should not depend on the actions of other people. When you give, it's best not to expect too much in return. Why? This will prevent you from becoming disappointed and help you maintain emotional stability. But let's be real. It's hard. You are generous deep down, hoping that people will reciprocate. You want them to see and appreciate what you do. But what if they don't? That's where we get burned by our expectations. Think about it. You always take responsibility, do favors, and help out. Naturally, you expect others to do their part, right? But when they don't, it hurts. You end up feeling exhausted, irritated, and frustrated. Everyone is different. Stoicism reminds us of the harsh truth. We cannot control the actions of others, only our own. It is difficult to give without expecting anything in return. But here's the thing. When you give without any strings attached, you gain a certain freedom. You do it because you want to, not because you expect a pat on the back. So the next time you lend a helping hand, try to let go of those expectations. Don't expect gratitude or a favor in return. The true value is in the act of helping, not in what you get in return. This mindset will allow you to remain calm and collected, no matter what comes your way. Third, too much giving attracts the wrong people. Here's the Stoic view. The vibes you give off attract people of a similar type. When you're positive and balanced, you attract generous and genuine people. But if you constantly give non-stop to the point of exhaustion, guess what? You start to attract needy people. These are not the ones who give, who lift up the mood. They are more eager to take what they can get. Imagine being the person who never says no. You are always there, always ready to help. Sounds great, right? But soon, you notice that the people around you do not want to give, they just take. Worse, you may even attract those who take advantage of your generosity. Opportunists. The Stoic solution. It's all about balance and knowing your limits. You need to be able to notice when you are overgiving. Setting boundaries is key. When you do this, you conserve your energy and attract the right type of people, those who value what you have to offer and are willing to give. Think of it as a two-way street. You want to be around people who respect you and what you bring. And to do that, you need to respect your own boundaries. Give, but don't let it drain you. This will build relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection, rather than just one-sided giving. This is the Stoic way: balanced, respectful, and real. If you found this content useful, please feel free to share it with your friends and family. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more exciting and educational videos in the future. Fourth, losing yourself to the needs of others. Stoic wisdom tells us that living wisely and virtuously means knowing when to put yourself first. When you are constantly preoccupied with other people's problems, you may be avoiding your own inner struggle. By constantly serving others, you lose touch with yourself. Your own voice gets lost in the noise of other people's demands. And then, when you finally have a quiet moment, all the fear and pain you were running from comes back. The Stoics teach us that taking care of our own needs is not selfishness, but necessity. It is about preserving our essence, setting boundaries, and following our own path. This is not just good for us. It is the key to authentic living. So the next time you feel the urge to bury yourself in other people's problems, stop for a second. Face those tough feelings. Be true to what you really need and want. Learn to say no when necessary. You will find that by respecting your own boundaries, you will be in a much better position to help others in a healthy and balanced way. Fifth, the trap of constant giving. Stoic philosophy values moderation, especially when it comes to giving. It's like steering a ship in a sea of endless demands. When you give too much too often, people come to expect it. They become accustomed to you always stepping up. This may feel good at first, but it's a slippery slope. Here's the thing: people naturally gravitate toward what's easy. If you always take charge and solve problems, you are essentially allowing others to stay in their comfort zone. They don't feel the need to step up or face challenges because they know you can handle it. But this affects not only them, it affects you as well. You end up taking on a burden that doesn't belong to you, and it can drain your energy and emotional state. Stoicism teaches us to find the balance of giving, but not so much that we lose ourselves in the process. When you start to set boundaries and slow down a little, something interesting happens. People begin to realize that they can't always rely on you. They begin to take responsibility for their own things, which is good for them and good for you. A powerful quote from Seneca captures this idea beautifully. True generosity is to give what is needed, not just what is asked. This quote reminds us that sometimes the greatest gift we can give is not to fulfill every request, but to enable others to fulfill their own needs. It is in this balance that we find the essence of true generosity. Generosity that enriches all participants without depleting anyone. By practicing balanced generosity, you maintain control over your life and do not fall into a cycle of constant giving. Remember that you do not just need to be generous, but to be generous wisely. In this way, you help others without losing yourself. And this is the true art of giving. Sixth, excessive kindness can breed suspicion. Stoicism teaches us to live according to our values, regardless of the opinions of others. The goal is to follow your principles while building a sincere and lasting reputation. However, in a world where true kindness is rare, excessive kindness can ironically cause confusion. People may begin to question your motives. They will ask themselves, why is this person so generous? What is in it for them? It is not that you have necessarily stumbled upon a group of cynical people. Often, this is simply a realistic reaction. People are accustomed to seeing kindness with a subtext. So when someone comes along who is eager to give and help, it can seem suspicious. In many cases, they have encountered people who seemed kind, but had hidden selfish goals. This experience makes them wary and even skeptical of genuine acts of kindness. This does not mean that you should moderate your generosity. Rather, it is about finding a balance. Be kind, but also transparent. Let your actions reflect your integrity. Remember, it is not about seeking approval, it is about being true to your values. Over time, consistent and balanced kindness can break down the walls of suspicion, revealing the sincerity of your intentions. This is the kind of authenticity that Stoicism advocates, a virtue that stands the test of time and skepticism. Seventh, the risk of addiction. Stoicism warns us of the danger of losing balance in life, especially when it comes to giving. It's all about moderation and self-control. When you give too much, when you are always the one others lead on, it can lead to dire consequences. You may begin to look for ways to cope with stress and emotional exhaustion. This is where the risk of addiction sneaks in. You may find yourself overeating, drinking to excess, or perhaps gambling too much. Anything to fill the empty space left by constant giving. Stoics urge us to listen to those close to you. If a friend or family member expresses concern about your habits, it's worth paying attention to. We often fall into denial when faced with the possibility of addiction. It's easier to brush off their concerns than to acknowledge the problem. But these comments usually come from a place of caring and love. Accepting such feedback is a step towards self-reflection and growth. It is important to remember that those who care about us are not trying to criticize or judge us. They care about our well-being. Taking their concerns seriously is a way of respecting ourselves and our path to a balanced life. It is a practice of Stoicism in real life, using moderation and self-control to avoid harmful behaviors that can harm our health and happiness. Ultimately, recognizing and addressing these risks is a sign of strength. It shows a commitment to our own well-being and a desire to live in accordance with the Stoic principles of balance and self-reflection. 8th, overcoming the challenges of unbalanced relationships. Imagine that you are the person everyone relies on when they are in a tight spot. It feels good to be needed, right? But then you start to notice that you are not on the weekend dinner invite list or at random get-togethers. You help them out the tough times, but when it comes to sharing laughter and good memories, you are left out. As if you are good enough to lend a hand, but not to share a smile. This realization can hurt. You are not just a helper, you are a person who also seeks fun and connection. This is a common scenario. People often categorize others based on what they bring to the table. If you are always helping, that becomes your label. What happens then? You are missing out on an opportunity to become a friend as an equal. This situation is not just unfair, it is a red flag. You begin to wonder if I am valued for who I am, or just for what I can do for others. Now let's consider the Stoic approach. Stoicism is not the absence of emotion, but an understanding of human nature and wise behavior. This situation is a chance to re-examine your relationships. It is a test of your ability to distinguish between those who value you as a person and those who see you as a means to an end. This is difficult, but important. You learn to define genuine friendship and distance yourself from one-sided relationships. Stoicism also encourages us to consider our role in this dynamic. Are we perpetuating this pattern of behavior by always saying yes? Are we neglecting to express our own needs and desires in friendships? It's about finding a balance between helping others and being true to yourself. By setting boundaries and expressing your own needs, we invite more authentic connections into our lives. We begin to attract people who value us for our whole selves, not just for our helpfulness. Ultimately, overcoming these buts is self-respect and mutual respect. It's about spending our time and energy on people who value us fully. Not only is this approach in line with Stoic principles, it leads to more fulfilling and balanced relationships. 9th, lack of reasonable boundaries with loved ones. Stoic wisdom teaches us to set reasonable boundaries in all areas of life, including relationships with loved ones. Paradoxically, it is often the family and friends who are the hardest to say a firm no. We are afraid of offending a loved one or seeming callous. Besides, these relationships are based on trust and care, aren't they? But here's what Stoicism says. True care is not boundless dedication, but the ability to value one's own strengths and resources. Sometimes our loved ones may unconsciously take our willingness to help for granted. They get used to the fact that we are always there. And then one day you realize that your own needs have been pushed into the background. As Seneca said, helping friends must have its limits, otherwise we ourselves will need friends. The key point is not to go to extremes. This is not about refusing to help completely. This is about learning to lovingly but firmly set your boundaries. For example, if a friend asks to borrow a large sum of money, you can promise to give him a smaller sum that you can afford. Or, if a relative wants you to help with a whole week of repairs, explain that you can devote the weekend to it. The main thing is to convey your position calmly and respectfully. There is no need to feel guilty or ashamed. After all, isn't it better to help a little less, but from a pure heart than out of a sense of duty and resentment? As Marcus Aurelius said, it is better to refuse when you can give than to give and then regret and hate it. Practice this skill gradually. Start by refusing small or non-urgent requests. Over time, you will feel more confident to set boundaries on serious issues. The main thing is to go from the heart and remember that taking care of yourself is also an expression of love only for yourself. Your loved ones may be offended or misunderstand you at first, but if these relationships are really strong, they will accept your right to say no, and then, instead of unhealthy dependence, you will find equal, mature relationships where each other's needs are valued and respected. This is the manifestation of true Stoic wisdom in interpersonal relationships. 10th, underestimating personal time. One of the greatest gifts life has given us is time. However, in the hustle and bustle of everyday life and the constant desire to help others, we often lose sight of the value of this invaluable resource. Stoic philosophy includes the teaching of careful attitude to time and its wise use. In our time of constant running, it is easy to succumb to the trap of endless obligations. We react to every request, agree to unnecessary meetings, and as a result find that real life is passing us by. As Seneca said, the greatest waste in life is the loss of time. Before agreeing to the next request or obligation, ask yourself, is this worth my time and attention? Learn to value your hours and minutes the same way you value money. Time spent cannot be returned. Give up unimportant things in favor of what really matters in your life. Life is short, and no one knows how much time we have. Therefore, appreciate every day and hour, fill them with deep meaning, do not waste them on trifles. Then you will be able to say with Seneca, I have not lost a single day. This is the truly Stoic approach to time as the greatest gift of life. Now let's look at methods that will prevent others from taking advantage of you. Strategy 1. Mastering the art of saying no for a balanced life. Stoic philosophy views time and energy as some of the most precious resources. They advocate for the conscious and balanced distribution of these resources. This is where the power of no comes into play. Saying no is not just refusing, it is a declaration of self-respect and recognition of your boundaries. It is an understanding that not every request or demand deserves your yes. Many of us are accustomed to perceiving no as a negative answer, a sign of intransigence, or even rudeness. However, the real negativity lies in the fact that we overburden ourselves and agree to things that leave us depressed or offended. Saying no is not pessimism. It is practical wisdom. It is protecting your well-being and concentrating your efforts where they matter most. Start by practicing saying no in low-effort situations. Stand in front of a mirror and practice saying no firmly, but at the same time, politely. Understand that every time you say no, you are not simply refusing a request, you are making a choice about how to spend your life. You are defending your priorities, your time, and your energy. This is not selfishness. This is self-preservation. Remember that saying no is a skill that must be developed. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but with practice, it will become a powerful tool for maintaining balance in your life. By mastering the art of saying no, you take back your freedom and protect yourself from being overburdened or exploited. This is a fundamental step towards living a life that is in line with your values and priorities, according to Stoic teachings. Strategy 2. Tune into your emotions. In Stoicism, self-awareness is a cornerstone. It is about understanding your emotions and reactions, which is essential to maintaining a balanced life. This strategy involves listening to your feelings, which tell you whether you are giving too much. The Stoics did not suppress emotions, but rather encouraged a deep understanding of them. Start by noticing how you feel when you help others. Ideally, generosity should bring a sense of satisfaction and joy. It is a feeling like walking on clouds, the ease that comes from genuine altruism. But if, when you help, you feel drained, hurt, or exploited, it is a clear signal that something is wrong. These feelings are your internal compass, They tell you when it is time to re-examine your boundaries. If you consistently feel negative emotions after helping someone, it is a sign that the act of giving is costing you more than it should. To implement this strategy, create moments of reflection after you have helped someone. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? Am I energized or depleted? Do I feel appreciated or used? This self-reflection is not about guilt or self-judgment. It is honest self-assessment. Acknowledging and honoring your feelings is not selfishness. It is a form of self-care. By listening to your emotions, you can make adjustments to your giving habits. This may mean setting limits, saying no more often, or being more careful about who you help and how you help. A Stoic approach to self-reflection will help you find a balance between helping others and caring for yourself. Strategy number 3. Beware of energy vampires. In Stoicism, discernment and self-discipline are key virtues, especially when about relationships. This strategy involves identifying and distancing yourself from those who drain your energy, so-called energy vampires. These are people who, after associating with you, leave you constantly feeling drained, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. Energy vampires are often characterized by endless complaining, pessimism, and a tendency to exaggerate problems. They seem to thrive on drama and negativity, rarely seeking solutions or positive results. Their presence can significantly drain your mental and emotional reserves. The Stoic approach to such relationships is not one of severity, but of wise insight. It involves recognizing that some people, no matter how hard you try to help them, may not change or benefit from your support. They are not necessarily bad people, but their impact on your well-being can be extremely negative. It is important to set firm boundaries with such people. If, after constantly interacting with someone, you feel worse than ever, it is a sign that you need to reconsider the relationship. This does not mean that you should abruptly cut off communication with them or become indifferent to their problems. On the contrary, you need to limit your exposure to their negativity and protect your own emotional health. In practice, this may mean setting limits on the time you spend with them, the type of support you offer, or even withdrawing from the relationship if necessary. Remember that Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control other people, only our reactions to them. By choosing where and with whom to invest your energy, you demonstrate Stoic wisdom and take care of yourself. Strategy number 4, respect your space and time. In Stoicism, the principles of self-discipline and self-respect are paramount. This strategy is based on the idea that it is important to make time and space for yourself. It is about setting aside time to do things that bring you joy and relaxation, whether it is a yoga class, painting, or simply a cup of tea with music. These moments are vital to your well-being. Think of this self-care time as an appointment with yourself, which is as important as any other commitment in your schedule. Make it a priority to effectively fulfill your commitments so that you can make time for these rejuvenating activities. It is important to take this practice seriously, scheduling it regularly, whether daily or weekly. Now, the most important point. If someone asks you for help during your scheduled self-care time, remember your commitment to yourself. It's okay to say no. This isn't about being uncooperative or not taking care of yourself. It's about respecting your own needs. You can be polite, but be firm in explaining that you have a commitment to yourself. If you want to accommodate, offer to help at another time, but make it clear that your willingness has its limits. Remember that according to Stoic teaching, your time and your space are not just valuable. They are non-negotiable aspects of your life that deserve respect. By respecting these personal boundaries, you not only take care of yourself, but you also show others how to treat you with the same respect. This approach will help you maintain a healthy balance between helping others and taking care of your own needs. In conclusion, Stoic wisdom teaches us that balance is key in all aspects of life, and generosity is no exception. If we give too little, we may appear selfish and stingy, and if we give too much, we drain our energy, time, and even financial resources. The ideal approach lies in the gray areas, those nuances where we find the right balance between helping others and caring for ourselves. Always remember that when you are unsure whether to give or not, the word no can be your greatest ally. If you found our video helpful, please like, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment. May your path be stoic and full of wisdom. See you soon. Thank you for watching.